Nestor said that, like, not, it wasn't like a profound statement, but he said, people are going into this movie expecting this cinematic masterpiece, this Citizen Kane level like movie with like detailed story and quality and all that kind of stuff or whatever. When in reality, bro, it's Mortal Kombat. Like, that's what this movie is. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fights, it's the blood, it's the gore, it's the fatalities, the absolute insanity of it all. I mean, in this world, you have a man who comes up from the depths of hell to fight a dude that has like the powers of, like, the Arctic, this ice dude, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, fighting each other or whatever. And like on that front, so like if you go into this movie, I'll say, if you go into this movie expecting that level of detail, or that, like not that level of detail, but if you go into this movie, I don't want to say low expectations, but if you go into it not expecting a cinematic masterpiece, but expecting like this fun, fan servicey, over the top, ridiculous fight scenes, like fight choreography, because the fighting, and I think in this movie, like the choreography in the movie is fantastic. I think it's let me not say fantastic, because fantastic to me is like the pinnacle of like fight choreography is stuff like Arrow. You've got the Daredevil show that was on Netflix. Of course, some of the MCU stuff. Like the Winter Soldier, the actual like Captain America Winter Soldier movie. The choreography with like Bucky using the knife and everything like that. That's like fantastic. Mortal Kombat has some really good fight sequences. I won't say like it's nothing to write home about, but it is not. Even that's hard. Like, I feel like I'm talking down on it, but I really enjoyed it. It's definitely not this pièce de résistance movie, but like it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie to watch. And that like kind of like ties into like a conversation that me and Celinda had today after we watched it. Where I was telling her that, like, I feel like the problem with stuff like this, the problem with like either video game movies or comic book movies or video game and comic book movies, those are the only two things I can think of, or even like anime movies or manga movies or whatever. We have been so spoiled with the MCU. When it comes to like live action stuff or whatever, we've been so spoiled with the MCU, because this is like, the MCU is a 22 movie. It's a 22 movie timeline, story, if you will, that is like, that had a beginning and that had an ending. They knew where they were starting, they knew where they were going to finish or whatever, and like they knew. There was just a different level a different level of like care. And I even want to say care, because like I feel like there was a large amount of care that went into Mortal Kombat. Like, I feel like watching the movie, there are some things that like are for like hardcore fans. I don't want to say hardcore fans, but there are some things in there for like, more than harder than casual fan, if that makes sense. And harder than casual fan, and like so to say that there wasn't care put into the movie, I think is a disservice to the movie. It's definitely not trash. It's definitely not an MCU grade movie, which I feel like anything that's not MCU grade we now deem as trash. And that's what I was kind of getting to, because I feel like we've been spoiled with the MCU. But not everything is going to be the MCU. You know what I mean? Not everything is going to be this. Not everything is going to be the Dark Knight. You know what I mean? The Dark Knight trilogy. Not everything is going to be for what it is, the original X-Men 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like these, like, not everything's going to be that. And so like, I feel like with a lot of these things, like, because we have been so spoiled, and because we know that it can be, or we've seen things that have been greater, I feel like we still should go into these things kind of like with somewhat tempered expectations, and kind of and understand that, like, not everything is going to be that. And if you go, and I say that to say, if you go into this movie with those expectations, you are going to love Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 11, or 11, excuse me, Mortal Kombat the movie. I'm looking at the Mortal Kombat 11 thing. Mortal Kombat the movie out on HBO Max. 10 out of 10, would recommend it. Definitely go watch it. As far as, yeah, just go watch it. Just go watch it. Let's go watch it.